Today's hot topic, inflation. What is it and why should you care? In simple terms, inflation is all about how fast prices are rising overall. Not everything has become more expensive at the same time, but on average, prices have increased, say by 2% per year. That means that on average you now have to pay €1,020 for a bunch of goods and services that only cost €1,000 a year ago. That's inflation at work. But here's the twist. Inflation isn't all bad. It might seem counterintuitive, but a small amount of inflation can actually help the economy. An average inflation rate of around 2% is usually considered good. It's just that sweet spot that helps keep the economy healthy and vibrant, which benefits you too. This is precisely why central banks like the European Central Bank in the Euro area or the Federal Reserve in the United States have a 2% inflation target. But why should you care about inflation? Okay, your go-to coffee is now 50 cents more expensive than before. That's not such a big deal on its own, but then you remember that even though you managed to get a cheaper deal for your phone contract, your energy bill last month was higher, and your weekly groceries now cost €15 more. So what happened here? Inflation has weakened your purchasing power. Basically, your money buys less today than it did in the past. But why should prices rise in the first place? Imagine a world where prices keep falling. In economic terms, that's known as deflation. Sounds like a dream, right? Who wouldn't love a good deal all of the time? But if prices kept dropping, we would eventually hit a point where the economy suffers. You see, when you expect things to become cheaper in the future, you might be tempted to hold off on buying them. Picture this, you've got your eye on that shiny new bike, but you hear a rumor that prices might drop in a few months. So you decide to hold off on buying it. Which sounds smart, right? And actually it is from an individual perspective. But here's the catch. If everyone starts doing the same thing, waiting for prices to drop, it can create some serious problems. Companies might struggle with sales, leading to financial difficulties, salary cuts, or even layoffs. Those people now have less money in their pocket. This, in turn, reduces overall consumer spending even more. Okay, but why can't prices at least stay the same? Well, it would be pretty difficult to keep prices at just that perfect level. A low, stable inflation rate of around 2% acts as a guide for the economy, providing just enough wiggle room for these natural ups and downs. This gentle inflation prevents the negative spiral of falling prices and keeps the economy stable and predictable. Inflation affects everyone, so understanding it helps you make smarter choices. See you next time for more Espresso Economics. Ciao!